Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Airburst function that I made for unguided rockets in ArmA. It can be used on any of the rocket launchers, on anything that fires a rocket, probably even grenade rounds and that as well, but this has been designed for HE ammunition on any of the unguided launchers. So first up, let's head over to the runway and then we'll be back. Alright, so for Airburst, obviously you need to know what range your target's at. So the other site on this is the vanilla launch that came out with the tanks DLC, which is good because this is the actual weapon that I made this for on VBS. So I made this function on VBS initially for the 84mm Cargustav for the M2, and this is kind of a copy of the M3 launcher. So it's good they brought one out. Anyway, to use the other side, it's got an inbuilt rangefinder, so that's easy. However, if you got the sight on this model of it in game, pretty much the way it works for rangefinding is they've got the rangefinders on the right in the red. So basically, you can fit a dude within that range, within the rangefinder, and that'll be your range. So this guy's out at 200 meters. This guy's out at 4, and out here 600 meters. So if you can fit a guy within one of those brackets, you know that's their range. You can use that as a rough guide to setting the range on your Airburst, on your HE round. So we'll leave these guys here and we'll head back to the range and start blowing pretend guys up. Alright, so if this has been set up properly, once you've loaded the ammunition nature that you will be using with Airburst, in this case it's a HE round, which is what it is in reality on the M3s and M2s. You will, once that's set up, you'll get the option to set your fuse. So you just scroll to and hit the option, and here's a picture of a HE round anyway. So we got 5 blokes out here. This guy's out at about 100. I think he's nearly 100, probably 90-ish, and the other 3 at about 75. So all I'm going to do is just show you setting the ranges, explain a little bit, and sort of show you where to aim as far as how high. So it's a little bit different in game to what it is in reality, or what I've always used in reality with these launchers. So I won't worry about what you'll actually do if you ever fire one of these for real. We'll just worry about in game. So first up, your fuse setting. Anything under 40 meters will be impact. So if you put in 0, it's going to be impact. So it won't actually arm the Airburst. If you leave it blank, the same thing. Fuse is going to be impact. Anything between 40 and 70, so just under 40, will still be impact. As soon as you hit 40, whoa, it will also bring up the last range you had in. Alright, so anything 40 to 70 is the arming distance. I cannot remember for sure, but 40 to 70 meters I think was the arming distance for HE rounds on the 84, so that's kind of what I've played with here. Between 40 to 70 meters there will be a 15% chance that the Airburst won't arm, the Airburst fuse won't arm, and the round will just fly until it impacts. So anything above 70 and you'll be fine. So let's go with the first guy's correction. Let's do these two. Okay, they're about 75 meters. So we're going to set the range to 75 meters and go from there. So here, if we just aim up a little bit, you'll just see sort of what happens. Probably a little bit too high, but here we go. Once the dust settles, okay, they're dead. Also the bloke out the back is dead as well, so it's pretty lethal. A pretty good way to get rid of a large bunch of dudes, especially if they're behind cover. So old mate out here at 100 meters. Another point as well, obviously the smallest one's 200 meters, but you can see that the 200 meters, if the guy's at about 100 meters, it'll cover about half of him from his groin up, or between the 4 and 800 meter range markers. Okay, so once you've set your range, it's 100 meters for this guy. Alright, you want to aim roughly about twice as high as the target, okay, for this, just for this. So the 800 to 400 markers, we'll just use that as our guide. So 800 being the bottom, 4 being the top, obviously. So We look where the 400 meter marker is now because we rest the 800 on top of him, and that's roughly where we want to aim. So that's about twice as high, so you can just guess it anyway, it doesn't really matter. And he falls over nicely. Alright, we'll get rid of the last guy, and then we'll engage some targets in dead ground. He mustn't be dead. He survived it. So he's a bit scared at the moment. There we go. They got him. So we get a nice little table and a TV here. So just behind this bit of dead ground, this berm here, sorry, just behind the berm, I need more ammo. Just behind the berm here is dead ground. Okay, so that's an area where you can't see into from where you are. It's a good spot for enemy to hide. Alright. And if you're trying to engage them with small arms and things like that, you know, you're not going to be able to hit them because there's a big amount of earth in front. So you may need to employ Airburst to engage them from the 84s. So you can see here on the screen, it's a little bit pixelated because that's the way it is, but you got a quad bike in the middle, a dude on the front, another dude up on the berm here, which is this berm along here. Alright, and behind it another two. Okay, the quad bike is roughly 200 meters. So what we want to do, it might seem obvious to most people, but there's probably some that it's not as obvious to. You want to engage it as an area target. So we'll use 3 rounds, okay, generally for an area target, and you'll put 1 round before, 1 round on the actual range that you've estimated, and another round after that range. So with these rounds, the maximum difference in those ranges you want to have is about 25 meters. So if that quad bike's at 200 meters, you want to put your first round at about 175, your second on the quad bike at 200 meters, and then your third round at about 225 meters. So 1 round 25 meters in front and 25 meters beyond as your maximum spread. You can close it in for a bit more lethality, but you don't want to spread it out any further. So what we'll do, set the fuse for the first guys at about 200 meters we've estimated, so we're just going to rock there roughly in line with this palm tree. So we're just going to double that height, and we'll set our sights to here. So we're going to aim there, we're going to watch the TV and have a little watch of what happens. So fire the first round, hits the berm, the first 2 guys are knocked down. Oh, it hits above the berm, sorry. So we'll set the next fuse at 200 to land center of the target. Okay, same point of aim. And dead center. Sweet. So 1 more dude to go at the back. And we'll set that at 225. Again, same point of aim. And last shot. There he goes, he's dead. And so that's basically how to use my Airburst function in ArmA. Yes, and that's about it. So enjoy. Any questions or whatever, or requests or points or anything like that, chuck it on the forums.